All right, welcome back to Citizens United. How's it going, Noel?
Going.
Yeah,
It's going. I love this weather.
me too. Robin, hello.
Love the weather.
Yeah, we're without.
Hate Mondays.
Yeah, we're without Jerry and Gail. They are
Yeah.
on assignment. So
But they're overlooking the
yeah, yeah. Oh, there they are. There she is. Even if
Yeah.
there's Gail.
She's watching us through her camera.
Yeah, from above.
Gail, I'm sorry, but I'm eating all your goldfish.
Yeah. What else? School, kids, how they like it?
They like it. They do.
Interesting, huh? What we're gonna
But
talk
it's
about
just-
here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's nice to know that like they can confirm what we're about to talk
Yeah, and it's unbelievable that it all makes sense as to why it's at that school.
about.
Because the person who anonymously got a hold of us really broke it. She did a good job, man. She said it all. I don't know who she is because I didn't even want her name because she wanted to be called anonymous. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. But I think we've confirmed it enough.
Oh yeah, I
To know.
confirmed it with 4
It's
of the kids that go there.
Yeah, it's a definite. This isn't anything made up. It's exactly what's going on. This isn't hearsay at all. Why don't we bring in he's not our guest anymore. He's just a member of the podcast pretty much now. Let's get Dennis in here. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. How's it going?
It's going, living the dream, trying to dodge rain clouds. It's
Yeah.
getting cold, man.
It is getting chilly, yes, because I know the other day the heat popped on. And I ran over real quick to shut it off as fast as I could. Because I tell you what,
Like Mr. Krabs.
yeah, well, like Mr. Krabs. Yeah, I did exactly like him.
Yeah.
Vernon's here, Chris is here. Hi guys. Also, before we get into this, don't forget about our stars. If you're out there and you want to give us stars, 99 cents gives us 100 stars. It helps us build. If we get enough stars, Facebook will give us some advertising opportunities. As much as stars you give, 99 cents, you can give $10 will give us 1,000 stars.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Whatever. All that money goes back into the podcast. Maybe we can get some newer equipment. We also have the thing that we're going to do very soon with Dennis, going to help us to come up with Catch a Predator.
Yeah, exactly.
So that'll be cool.
I wish I had that show.
Am I going to be the bait?
The bait.
Yeah.
Yes, you and Noel are gonna. Yeah.
I'll be like, hold on, I'll be right out. I'm getting out of the shower.
Yeah. You say that thing like, dang. Like they
Yeah.
always.
Yeah.
I don't know why they do. It's so messed up. Yeah. When they're reading the chat, that is so funny.
And then John's like, why don't you have a seat? Have a seat over there.
You'll have no police though, so that'll be a hell of a scrap. All right, so let's get into what we're here for. So I got a phone call, anonymous phone call, and she talked to me for a while. She's a parent at one of the schools here in Niagara Falls. Just a GJ man. And what her issue was, and we've been talking about this, with gender identity and all that stuff. What's the schools, all the school districts? What's their policy? We know it's all the same. But now this goes to another spot. This is the teacher, and the teacher that teaches music at the school is. See, now here we're reaching another spot now, Dennis, like a different place. This is not a man who is transitioning into a woman or a woman who's transitioning to a man. This is just someone who says, I'm neither. I am nothing. So
What a confused individual.
Yeah, at the point, hey Dominic, at the point where they're saying nothing, now we can't say Mr. or Mrs. Like, for decades we've called our teacher Mr. whoever, Mrs. whomever, Miss whoever, however it goes. This one we can't. So we're calling them, I don't want to say it because it's terrible. We're calling them teacher, just straight up teacher. Dennis, I know this is something you'd probably already known has been going on, but of course us sometimes it just slaps you in the face. I never was thinking this part of it. Were you? Like, the teacher coming before it was the parent or the kid being able to come in and say, no, I want to change and all that. Now we got the teacher. Dennis, I got to hear something from you about that whole situation.
Where do I begin? So do we know, is this a male or a female? Do we know that?
From what I've seen, it's a female wanting to be a male. Like, she looks like a male. She dresses like a male.
Okay. Either way, she's confused. Okay, let's start there. Because there is no such thing as non-binary. Okay, in the history of mammalian reproduction, There's always a male and a female. So we'll just get that there.
She
And I
also
think it's,
tells the kids that she doesn't know what she is.
and this is the person that we're supposed to trust to teach our kids how to be productive members of society.
Yeah.
And that's fine that she doesn't know what she is, but that sounds like a conversation between her and her therapist.
Right.
Right. I don't.
And what she's doing is she's projecting that confusion onto the children. Okay. And what it is it's even more than that. It's her trying to break societal norms as it relates to gender, is what it is.
Yeah, and it's how many things can you deal with? Because you have, like I said before, I mean, we just keep reaching new levels. Before it would be, okay, she was a she, now she's a he. So, okay, we're all going to say Mr.
Right.
Like, that's the funny thing. We've all conformed to everything anyways. So now there's more conformity. Do you know what I mean, Dennis? Like, we've already allowed it to go too far.
We already have.
We
already have. And it's going to continue to go further. My biggest concern is that we have a teacher who is spending an enormous amount of time with our children, or a substantial amount of time with our children, and we can't verify their identity. They're an unknown. Imagine getting pulled over and the cop asks you what your name is and you say driver. Imagine how that's going to go, right? Are we going to deduce ourselves now to job titles? So what is she outside of the 8 hours a day?
Someone's asking me what I mean by go too far. I guess what I'm saying is where, like, how do you know what to do? I mean,
kids know what to
how
say.
Yeah.
The kids, there are kids asking her questions, and her answer is very confusing to them. She's telling these little kids as young as 5 and stuff, I don't know what I am. That's
how do we file a complaint against this teacher? We don't even know the name. What if there's an emergency? If I have to pick up my child and he's in, this teacher's classroom, or if an incident happens, what? I'm just going to file a report against teacher?
Right.
Yeah, it's I don't know how you do it. I mean, that's my point. Like, where there's so many things. And this is the one thing I wanted to ask you, Dennis, and anybody else out there. Once let's say you've transitioned from a male to a female, right? At that point, when you go get a license, you're a female. Is that how it works? Does anyone, like, how are you looked at in the eyes of, you would be, right?
Repeat that again. Say that again for me.
If all right, you're going to transition from a male to a female, and you do it. Now you're a female. Does things like your license and everything change as well? Like, you actually become a female?
I think you have to fill out some kind of form, some kind of DMV form, and you can get it changed. I actually filled out on my license, I think it says gender X or something like that.
All right, because I just don't know, like, how it couldn't be confusing for decades after decade after decade. We've always done the same thing in the schools, right? As far as teachers go, saying, I mean, I understand some people think, like, what's the big deal? Answer that, Dennis.
The big deal is this is introducing radical gender ideology into schools. Okay. If she doesn't know what she is, that's fine. She can figure it out between her and her therapist. Just because she has obviously some kind of psychological issue doesn't mean that she needs to project it on all of the kids and cause gender confusion with them. What this does is this teaches kids that, oh, well, she's neither male nor female. That's possible. Well, am I neither male nor female? Right? It causes confusion where they might not otherwise have confusion. We know that there's only a man and a woman. Okay. When she dies someday, or when I die, how about that? When I die someday and somebody digs up my skeleton, okay, regardless of what I was identified as, they're going to see characteristics in my bone structure, my makeup, my physiology, my DNA, and they're going to say that's a man. Okay.
Right.
Just the idea of, non-binary, it doesn't make sense. Okay. Because what you've done now is you've classified people into two groups, binary and non-binary. So by pushing this non-binary ideology, you've essentially created a whole nother binary system. It doesn't make sense. And it's confusing, and it doesn't need to be projected on children.
Darren, I can answer your question when you said And the parents should talk to their children. Remember, it starts at home, right? Right. But how are the parents supposed to say anything if the teacher doesn't even know herself? How are the parents supposed to explain it to their kids when the teacher can't even figure it out? She can't figure out if she's a boy or a girl. So what do we say as parents? That's all I said to my kids is it's a teacher.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You're dealing with it.
I'm
because
dealing
your
with
kids
that.
are in the school.
My kids are in this class, and I just said, they asked me, they said, is she a boy or girl? I said, I don't know. I don't know. She's
And I'm
a
glad you mentioned that, Darren, because it's not like you're right. It should start at home. But how do the parents know if they're not being informed by the school? Okay, if something as unprecedented as this is going to happen in the classroom, and we're going to start making exceptions that we've never even heard of before, and start using language and start deducing teachers to job title instead of their name, okay, shouldn't that be sent to the parents as some kind of notification? Why do we have to rely on our children to tell us this? And as parents, we have a right to know the identity, the true identity, the actual identity of a person who's spending time behind closed doors with our children. That's the real issue here.
Robin.
And shouldn't it start at home? Shouldn't it be the parents' choice to decide if and when they describe non-binary to their children? They shouldn't have to explain at 5 years old if they
Right.
don't feel like it's time for their children to handle that, what non-binary is.
Bingo.
And why somebody would not know if they're a boy or a girl. That's not acceptable for elementary school kids to have to come home and be explained that stuff to. And the parents should be the ones making the decisions. Maybe some elementary school kids are ready, but some aren't.
Yeah.
No, the teacher has no name.
Yeah, it's just teacher.
Teacher.
But we got one more comment here. Let me see what Dominic says. Whatever people want to be, so be it. As long as it doesn't infringe on other people, and especially against kids in a classroom, that stuff needs to be taught in the home setting. Dennis is spot on. And someone else says, and don't forget, parents don't have the right to know what the staff and kids are discussing. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Well, I know for a
Go
fact,
ahead.
2 children asked this teacher if she was a boy or a girl. I'm saying she because I've seen her. She's a she. And she told the kids straight up, I don't know what I am. That's exactly her words to them. I don't know what I am. And that was asked by the little kids.
And Dennis is exactly right. Why are we putting in the heads of children that that's an option? It's not. You're a boy or you're a girl. There's no other.
Sadly, they've made options. I mean, I don't know what to say. I mean,
If she wants to be a boy, then okay, I'll call her
Right,
Mr.
yeah.
I'll call
Sure.
him. I'll say Mr. whatever. But
yeah.
I mean, you can't tell somebody you don't know whether you're a boy or a girl.
Dennis, you made one good point that I tried to make a couple times online about, I think the school made a mistake. They should have told the parents what, because it is unprecedented. We've never had this before. I don't know about other school districts, Niagara Falls School, never had this. So it's unprecedented. They should have let the parents know, and then the parents could have decided. Maybe they bring their kids to private school, maybe they homeschool them. Anything could happen, right? So I thought that was a really good point.
Yeah, I mean, the parents should be the first to know. If
Yeah.
you're going to do something that's completely unprecedented that nobody's ever heard of, why are we finding out about this through our children?
Yeah, something like this. And because that's how then the the phone call comes into us was from a parent who said, talking to the kindergartner, how was your day? And who's your teachers? And then it turned to that. Then it was, Mr. This, Mrs. That, Mr. This, and teacher. And the person I talked to on the phone happened to say, and I thought the kid was, I was trying to teach my son not to be respectful by using their name, saying just calling them teacher wasn't. So there's so much confusion that I'm confused, and I'm not 5.
There is so much. I have so many questions. I am genuinely confused. I want to know, what is this person's actual identity?
Darren, I don't care if the teacher is gay or not. You want to be, if you're gay, good. I love gay people. I don't care about gay people. But when you sit there and you tell kids that you don't know if you're a boy or a girl, you're telling this to like 5-year-old kids that you don't know if you're a boy or a girl. That's totally different subject. Don't bring that into that. That's totally different.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with.
And it has
sex wise, yeah, no.
Darren, we
because
shouldn't
that's
know.
what-
We shouldn't know the sexuality of our teachers. Period. It doesn't belong in the
Exactly.
classroom.
Thank you, Dennis. Yes, that's exactly.
And I
right.
agree with whatever Darren's trying to say. No, I don't want to know if they're gay or
No,
not.
I don't want to know.
I'm
I
not
don't
going
wanna
to
know
tell you
if
my
they're not gay. I
sexuality
don't
because
wanna
it's none of
know-
your business.
Right.
It's
Right.
nobody's business. It's nobody else's business. It especially doesn't belong in the school. It's not a child's business. You were talking. What's the age range on these kids? You said 5
It's-
years old.
It's at the whole school, right?
Right.
Well,
Hold
So it's K through 5.
Yeah.
Okay, well, guess what? Gender identity doesn't start developing, according to psychologists, until between 5 to 7 for boys. So why are you injecting ideologies when they don't even have a gender identity yet? If they can't be diagnosed either or, as far as an identity goes, then you shouldn't be pushing yours on them. And I feel very strongly about this.
How about asking the teacher or another non-binary person on your show to be in the? Oh, I'd love to.
I love it.
If you find one for me, Darren, it'd be great. I would love to have that happen. That would be outstanding. Yes.
I would love,
Anyone-
doctors, teachers, board members, non-binary.
Everybody.
I would love to talk to them all, but unfortunately they never do.
No, they don't. I mean, as far as I don't know where to find non-binary. I that would be someone would have to come to me, and I would give them the link right now and tell them to come on. That would be outstanding. And as far as teacher, I reached out to the board. I mean, oh God, they see all my emails. There's like 3 and nothing. So I don't know. I mean, I want to know what they think. I definitely do. Yes, Darren, if you find one, please, I'll do it.
Please, yeah.
Right now, I would do it, or whenever. We'll have them on. Absolutely, positively, love to have that.
And I
they're-
want
and it
to
would be
apologize to Darren if I came off strong. I'm a little heated about this.
Well, because it affects you personally.
And
It does. I mean, it is a personal thing to me, and it's hard
Yeah.
for me to try to put the
I could be-
personal emotions to the side and remain objective, because it's like I see what this is getting at. I've lived through it. It's difficult.
I promise I'll be very respectful to anyone that comes on here. I would love to have
Absolutely.
that conversation. That would
Absolutely.
be one that is never had.
Right.
So that would be
Right.
like a first. I don't know if there's many podcasts that even have that opportunity, really, to have a real discussion, like, and not.
I just get offended at that one.
Yeah, and I think it would be very good. Thank you. So going forward, I do think I don't understand, unless the school was just trying to hide it. I'm guessing because they send out notices for everything.
They know that it'll piss most of the parents off. That's why they don't.
Yeah, because they send out notices for a lot.
They
of
send
things.
they send out notices for the bathroom changes. So why wouldn't they send out a notice about this?
Yeah, it's weird that you wouldn't want to prepare people for something. Like I said, it's unprecedented. They didn't have a precedent on how to do this.
Yeah.
They had no idea. So
Yeah, and me personally, I like to research everybody that's going to be around my child. Every single one. When I go to open house, I pretend that it's a job interview. I'm interviewing this person for the job, the role of being around my child and teaching them. And I want to meet all the teachers. I want to know who they are. I'm going to put their name in Google. I want to see what they do in their spare time. It's what I do. I want to know who's around my child, right? And you can't even like teaching kids to develop personal relationships with people. Part of that in developing a relationship and earning the respect and trust of other people is also, knowing their name. It's usually like a first step.
yeah, I mean, it's just nuts because I don't know how. Because I'm so far removed from having kids the ages of yours.
Yeah.
And how old is your son, Dennis?
He's 9.
9. Okay, yeah, my gosh, our grandkids are now hitting that age. So I just don't even know. You dealt with it pretty well. I mean, you just told them. I mean, obviously, you got to be respectful. We want them to be with the kids to be respectful. We don't want anyone to be disrespectful to anyone. I just don't know how you're going to go through this year
Yeah.
with the kids continually asking, because they're kids, and kids are brutally honest too.
Yeah,
So
very,
they're going to say, are you Mr., Mrs., whatever. It's just bizarre.
very brutally honest.
It's wild. You
Yeah.
can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. And there's many more than just non-binary. I mean, there's a whole bunch of things that we haven't even touched on yet, right? I mean, there's not just people that say they're neither. We see some that they could be cats. They can be whatever, like, you know what I mean? There's so many. I know there's a lot of different things now within that LGBTQ community. There's a lot. And I don't know if non-binary, this isn't just it. Do you know of any? I don't know of any more, but there's more. There must be.
More, yeah.
What did we ever find out about cats? Did we ever hear any more? Because I saw it.
Somebody said something in Niagara Falls High School. I saw a post the other day that they actually have a litter box in the high school because somebody identifies as a cat. It was in Niagara Falls High School. It was a big thing going around. I don't know how true
And I
it is.
want a board member to talk to me about that. Tell me
They won't.
about that, you know? Oh, they won't.
When do
Go ahead.
we draw the line?
Hi, Jerry.
Okay.
Jerry's here with us. Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, Jerry.
So Dennis, if you were in this, if you're the parent of one, you know, you're here at GJ Man, how would you have dealt with, what would you have done when you heard this?
I go right to the superintendent and demand to know the identity of the person who is teaching my child.
Now they do know the last name, right?
Kelly.
We don't know, but they did release a last name.
Yeah.
There is a last name that's given.
Oh,
It's-
okay.
There is a last name. Yes. I forgot about that. Yes, there is a last name. It's teacher last name. So,
I mean, the only other alternative I could think of to avoid any kind of confusion is just by last name, but it's still an exception because usually everything is prefaced with a Mr. or Mrs. or Miss. You know, like I've had people call me by my last name before. You know, usually it's like a work thing, right? People do it at work. But I don't even know how you approach that, because I get it. You know, we want to be respectful. And look, if she identifies as a male, or if she were a male and identifies as a female, whatever, I would instruct my child to call them by the name that they wish to be identified out of respect, right? But what do you do when they don't identify as either one?
right. Yeah, no, I don't. Darren says so, and I don't know what you mean. You might have to say more about this.
Nobody is
So now
the
that-
teacher removed from their job.
So now what? What the hell is this? Did
I
Morgan?
said, so now what? Have the teacher removed from
Oh.
the job?
Okay, no, yeah, no, we're not saying that. I don't think we've ever
No.
gone that far. No one has said that they should be fired and shouldn't be allowed to be in the. It's more of, I've always looked at it this
It's
way,
confusing to the children.
and I think the Board of Education should have done more here.
They have
sh-
no problem sending out notes to the parents about the gender bathroom issue. Why not just explain to parents that they have a teacher that's not gonna go by any name? It's gonna be
because
teacher,
there's some people that have a religion.
that we have a
things.
confused teacher in our staff that's confused and doesn't know if it's a boy or a girl. So make sure you tell your kids that this teacher doesn't know if it's a boy or a girl.
Chris heard about the cat situation at Niagara Falls High School, but no other details.
A
The-
discussion needs to be had. How do we respect this person, but then also respect science, right? And the truth, and not cause gender confusion among kids?
Right.
How do we do those things? How do we reach a common ground on this?
One-
Is really
one other thing I heard about was religion. Someone had said to me it goes against their religious beliefs. I mean, so that's where the school is wrong. They should have let these people know, and then they
should-
could have decided. The parents, there are parents that probably could have said, "No, I'm going to take my kid out. I'll go somewhere else. There's private schools. I could do it." Because we've learned that a lot of people that go to the school are connected people, right? They're either firemen, police, kids of them, or for some reason, it's weird. It's crazy how they decided to do it at this school. And I think it's because they know the people that are connected to the system, because you're going to be afraid to speak out against the system. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The system. So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Let's see, what do we got here? Then attend the Board of Education meeting. All right.
Those don't ever do anything.
I-
They really don't.
I don't know what I'd do at a Board of Education meeting. What about, I mean, you go to them, right?
Yeah.
Dennis? You're gonna,
I mean, I totally do it. I don't know if anything's going to become of it,
Yeah.
but at least you can bring some light on the issue. I mean, they've already dropped the ball in communication. It's tough because it's already done, and now the children are left confused, and the adults are trying to figure out what the hell to do.
Yeah, and I gotta say, I don't think any of us had. Oh, hold on, let's see what Dominic's got. As a teacher, you are a professional. It should be a right and wrong, and understand children not don't understand this. A Board of Education meeting wouldn't do anything. Well, I think the problem with the Board of Education, yeah, I mean, it's already done, like you said, Dennis, and no one's looking to have them fired. I don't think anyone has ever thought that. Have you? Did you? I've never thought of I want them
It
removed.
doesn't bother me enough to get fired. It bothers me though that
Now
kids are
guess
confused.
now guess what? What Dennis said is a good one. I do like to research who my kids are around too, because in the past when you didn't, they decided to molest everyone.
Right.
So you have to kind of figure it out because I'm, you know, I'm tired of that because that's happened more than people want to say. And in the Niagara Falls School District, especially, they're coming, it's coming to there. It's going to happen
Yeah.
soon. They are a bunch of about 40 cases are going to be settled. And I don't know what they're going to do about it, but this is what I mean. You got to know who the people are because you're leaving your kids just vulnerable.
I want to know everybody that my child's around.
Yeah, definitely.
You know?
Let's see, what are they saying here? What was on her/his job application should be made to go by that name until they figure out what they think they are. Yeah, is this not, let me ask you, Donna, maybe you know, maybe you guys know around the table. The non-binary thing, does that mean they're ever going to figure it out? Or that seems to me they don't want to figure it out.
Most kids doesn't want to figure out.
Or maybe they have figured it out and then they realize that they're neither male or female. Like in the situation of the cat, they would still be technically non-binary, right?
Right. Okay. Because it feels like when you're labeled or you label yourself as non-binary, you don't have the desire to be. You'll never you don't want to figure it out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want to be male or female. I'm guessing. So, go ahead, Robin.
I think there definitely should have been an alternative provided by the school. I mean, not only it was the communication bad, but there are people who it's against their religious beliefs, or just they don't feel like that's right for their child. And nobody knows a child better than the parents if they have good parents. So there should be an alternative available for parents who aren't comfortable with it.
Yep, interesting comment here.
Not
How are,
everybody
point.
has to feel comfortable with it.
right. How are they going to pass a background check? Interesting. Yeah, it's a good point. I didn't, yeah. How could you if we don't know if we can't, because that's not coming up in the computer.
Well, I'm going to tell you whatever background checks the Niagara Falls schools are using aren't working.
Yeah.
Unless they're checking for pedophiles. Oh, you're a pedophile? Okay, good. Welcome.
Right.
Yeah, I hope things have gotten, but maybe not. We don't even know. Things though we know in the 80s and 90s were wildly out of control here, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
And I don't mean to say that against everybody, because there's great people like Jerry who were good teachers who
You're not going to hurt them.
who put their lives into these kids. But there were some people out there that I don't know what they did, how they fooled anyone.
Yeah, I don't think
we've all seen it. I've grown up I went to Wilson Central High School. We had a few instances of that.
Yeah.
Of teachers, and inappropriate conduct, and that resulted in criminal investigations and probably punishment. I know that there was they were let go for that. So it's hard because as parents, we are not hateful, we're not bigoted. We want to protect our kids and we want to do what's best for our kids. And when our kids come to us with this stuff, how are we supposed to address that? And we raised a lot of really great questions here. And I don't think we're asking too much. I think that, it's almost like we can't even do our jobs as parents to protect our children because we have to navigate around these sensitive issues.
Right.
Like this, and it's hard. Like, I feel for these parents. I can't imagine. Like, what do we do, right?
Yeah, because you're now, I mean, like I said, we talked about so many things with gender identity, but this was the one that I guess I was never thinking of. The teacher. What if the teacher comes? But then I didn't think of the teacher being just teacher. I mean, okay, because really, if you said she's dressed like a man.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, you would say
You would.
this is a female dressing as a man.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I mean. Then why not be Mr.? I mean, it's just, it's
Right.
bizarre. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, why would, so this non-binary thing is just a nothing. Like, I don't mean they're nothing. I mean, they are just like a Ken dot, like nothing. There's not going to
Like
be.
when I saw, if it's exactly who I'm thinking of, to me, you could clear as day tell it's a female, but she's wanting to be a male. She's dressing like a male. She wants to be a male.
And Gail says, seems to me they get to pick and choose when they want to reveal their true identity, but we have to accept it if and when they want to. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you kind of are at the mercy. They put us at the mercy of all
Yeah.
this. So
Mhm.
It's inconsistent. Like I said, I want to know what she identifies as when she's not there 8 hours a day. What does she identify as when she goes home?
Right.
Citizen?
Right.
right.
Yeah.
Citizen, right. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mows the lawn, she's landscaper.
You
I
ever
mean,
think-
and I'm not trying to be funny here. This is serious, you know,
Yeah.
like we're reducing ourselves to job titles because we're confused about our gender.
yeah, it's so
It's wild.
It is wild. It really is.
I
Go ahead,
don't
Robin.
understand how there's confusion.
Well, yeah, I don't know how we
I
get
know,
that.
I don't know if I can-
Like
Well-
science, like let's just be scientific about it.
Well, Dennis has tried. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it turned out it don't always take the turn
Yeah.
because people think you're trying to be hateful and no one's
Yeah,
being hateful.
not in
I
hatefulness
hate
at
that
all.
like this subject is so touchy. Like people all of a sudden assume like you're against it, you're against gay people, or you don't like this. Like it's like why does everybody have to agree with it? Like why does everybody have to just shut their mouths and be okay
Right.
with it?
And that's the thing. So, like, at the expense of protecting the kids now,
Right.
I
I
think
don't-
an open a conversation is needed. We do need to speak to people. I mean, I would love to get somebody on here who is of that and that would be willing to talk. You know what I mean? Because that would be interesting to talk to somebody who's non-binary or
Yeah.
whatever they call it. You know, whatever. It would be. It will take a special person because I got questions, man.
It's
And
just it's something that shouldn't be put on children. It
Yeah.
just shouldn't be put on little kids. Like they
Mm-mm.
shouldn't have to be confused along with them.
right?
Yeah.
It's
There you go.
confusing for us. We've spent a half an hour talking about it and we still don't have any answers. So imagine how they feel.
Right. I can't see. What did Darren say? I'm missing.
DEI.
Is only for the students. So DEI. Geez, I'm not sure what he means there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what DEI is. I don't know.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion. What was the
Oh,
question?
Is that what it is? Okay. It says.
I think,
so,
I mean, that's what I know DEI, but I didn't see his comment.
Way to go.
yeah. It
Dennis.
says so. DEI is only for the students. Yes, I'm not sure.
No, it's.
Oh yeah,
for
he
every-
said. He said yes. You got it right. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, diversity, equity, and inclusion is for everybody, but that doesn't mean that everybody should be force fed to go along with this if it's against their beliefs, or quite frankly, if it defies all kind of logic or scientific basis. The reason why these people won't come on and even debate me and talk to me about this is because they have no rationale for their thinking. They have no facts to back any of this up. And they expect us to go along with it. It doesn't make sense. It's not based in reality, but we have to go along with it. And if we question it, we're the bad people. We're not.
Right.
We're not at all.
No, and I think the questioning part of it is the only way. It's the only way that I don't even know what the right thing to say about this because it's the only way that first of all, if you're non-binary, the last thing you should want to do is not talk because because the more you don't talk, the worse it's going to be.
Right.
Because I think then that obviously we know how that goes. There's no conversation, there's fear, there's all kinds of things.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's see what Darren's saying here. There are many non-binary students in your district. How do you handle them?
Well, they're not confused if they're not confused about their gender also. They are either they want to be a boy or they want to be a girl. They're not confused and say, I don't know what I am. And at this point, it's not even, we're not talking about students. We're talking about a teacher who is teaching students who's supposed to be a role model for others. And
Well, we know
Totally
what
different.
we know what they got. They have an agenda.
they get treated better than regular students.
they've got the thing with students,
They get their own
right? They
bathrooms.
have a
They got more respect than regular students.
what am I trying to say? They have a policy for all this, for
Right.
gender identity in the kids. I know that they have that, and we know the sad story. And luckily, Dennis was able to fight back, where they were doing it without even caring if the parent knew or not, and that goes on a lot too. So we have we're in an area we've never been, so it's kind of hard to even to make sense. It's hard for me to even put good words together because it doesn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't. And let's not forget the gender dysphoria. It is a mental illness. It's classified by, what is it, the American Association of Psychiatry or something like that. It's diagnosed with DSM-5. There's a strict criteria that you have to meet over a certain period of time. Gender doesn't start developing in boys until about 5 to 7, so they won't even perform an assessment until they're that age. Okay, so this idea that you have kindergartners that are non-binary, the kindergartners aren't confused, guys. It's the parents, and they're inflicting it. The adults are inflicting it on the children. Okay, they don't know. They have no idea. Children are products of their environment. It's being inflicted upon them. So not only that, but if with these non-binary students, is the district making sure that there's even a diagnosis, a formal diagnosis of gender dysphoria before they go ahead and socially transition them? Because we know about a study done by Singh, Bradley, and Zucker. I think it was back in like 2016 or 2018 or something like that, where 88% of kids desist back to their original gender before they graduate. If you socially transition them, only 6 do. What does that tell you? It's influence, okay? So what you have here is a treatment plan before a diagnosis, and that's exactly what happened in my son's case.
Yeah, and I'm curious, and this would be something I'd like to ask the board members, a principal or somebody, what, like I saw the picture of someone wearing a tail and ears.
Yeah.
And it wasn't for Halloween. It was, or something like that. It was what it is.
Right.
So I don't know. That's a really good, what are they, if I show up the next day to school, how do I mean, is it really like that? That's what I want to know. Is it really like that I could, if I was in 8th grade, I could just show up and say, you know what? No, I'm a hippo. And it would just be it. I'd be you know what I mean? Like, there's no answers to this. Unless, do you have any, Dennis? Do you know, is that what they do? I guess you just asked that. You don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
If they didn't, then that wouldn't be very inclusive now, would it?
Right. Oh my God. All right. You know what? We are going to, Darren is going to help us find somebody. And I
Please,
really
Darren,
appreciate that.
help
That
us.
would be incredible, because then
Yeah.
we can all get together and talk. I got to go look at the record. Good night. Okay, he says good night, good conversation. No, I appreciate it. Please get us a guest. You find me a non-binary. We'll have Dennis. We'll have all of us here. We'll be very, very nice to them, and we will have a discussion. I think we need more of them. And let's just say, and if they say they're an animal, do they get to pick an animal sex?
I was wondering that too. Like, are they
Yeah.
female cats or male cats or?
Even worse, do they have sex with other animals, or do we not
Right.
want to go down that rabbit hole?
Oh, there's
Oh,
another
pun
road.
intended.
God.
All right, here we got some more things before we wrap it up. I guess my question is, when does it become appropriate, and for what age group of students? Dennis is right. Being a criminal justice major, there is a lot of studies where an individual is not fully developed until the age of 25 years. Point being, to echo Dennis, is this argument needs to be really played out on age appropriate. Can I
Yeah.
imagine the stuff back in the 80s? No, I cannot.
Definitely, Dominic, because Gail was saying that before.
About your
I
brain?
think, I think last week about the brain not being fully developed.
I was flipping out last week because I'm thinking to myself, you can't consent for a lot of things until you're 18, 21, whatever it is. If you're letting people consent to what goes on, like, at 6 years old, then I really believe we're going down the road to allow adults to have sex with children. I mean, it's just plainly, that's what scares. That's my head. I'm thinking, if you're allowing them to have consent, if they're at 8 are able to say, I want to be a girl, I want to be a boy, and that's consent, that's it, then why can't they do that about anything else? So
It's
I
I wish I had answers, and I just want to say, Darren, if we get somebody on, like, dude, I'm going to tone it back. I don't want to offend anybody. I want to listen because we have a whole lot of questions, and I feel like we will never get these things answered unless we have somebody on that is going through this, experiencing this, and can explain it to us. I have trans friends out there, but they're not non-binary. Even the trans friends that I have, they've transitioned from men to women, but they still recognize that they are biologically men, and they have no problem saying that. They don't get offended or anything like that. They actually make jokes about it. It's, it's like, it embarrasses me sometimes because I'm like, oh my God, you can't say that.
Yeah.
Or like, oh yeah, I can, because,
Right.
and so we have such extremes here, and we don't know how to handle it. We don't know how to deal with it. How do we approach this and be respectful, but then mindful to other people's beliefs and, like I
Right.
said, science and everything else? Where is this common ground? And I don't know as if we'll ever find that.
Yeah. Cindy says, yes, I know some at a school where I work. They have transitioned back to the gender they were born with. They were going through some personal stuff.
Yeah.
I've heard of that a lot. That
Gail's
Okay.
talking about, there it is, the hippocampus
Yeah, see?
in the brain. Look it up. It's our decision-making area of the brain.
Writing that
And she
down.
said under the word. I thought she was going to say
I
hippopotamus.
thought what she said.
That's what I thought she said.
All right.
writing that one
We're
down.
going to let you, Dennis, we'll let you go. We've already kept you way over time. It's 41 minutes past the hour. You are a part of the podcast now, so I'm probably going to just be sending you a link every week. And anytime you want to jump on. No
Okay.
matter what the discussion is, why not, right?
Yeah. I'll try to be. I was a little worked up today, so I do want to apologize for that. I usually don't let my emotions, get out there, but it's met. I'm trying to wrap my head around this, and I can't figure it out.
Yeah,
It's
me
like
too.
a puzzle that
Yeah.
I want to solve, but I don't know if there's an answer.
Right. All right. We'll leave it there, Dennis. I'll be talking to you. We'll all
Thank
be
you.
talking.
Bye, Dennis.
Bye, Dennis. Take
Bye.
care. All right, so that's Dennis Hannon, our buddy and podcast member now, pretty much.
Yeah,
You might as well just
he's
stay with
very
us.
helpful.
We're not gonna take a break. Why don't we get into the next story?
Yeah,
Um,
a few of his friends are watching.
The next story has to do with, well, here's the situation, and I'll let you describe it. Go ahead.
We have an animal.
Say what happened.
We have a dog murder. Lives right down the street from me. His name is John Patrician. He's a retired Niagara Falls police officer. I think he's just freshly retired, to be honest. My friend has a pit bull. Her pit bull got loose. Okay, it happens. Dogs get loose all the time. You see it all over Facebook. People's dogs get loose. Help me find my dog. Whatever. Her dog got loose. It went across the street and didn't go into the guy's yard. It was on the sidewalk. He went into his house, got his gun, came back out, shot the dog in the head 3 times and murdered it. This was a family dog, a dog that was loved by 5 children. It lived with 5 children. It got along with cats. It got along with other dogs. Yes, at one point it did. Somebody next door, I guess, got nipped by the dog. Nipped. When I say nipped, I mean nipped, not bit, nipped. Okay, because I've got a lot more damage done to me by a 10-pound dog than that. Okay, so this pit bull did not grab onto anybody and start shaking. So that person that got nipped didn't want charges pressed, didn't even want the cops involved because they don't trust the cops around here, and they certainly didn't want to see the dog get shot. But this dog wasn't bothering John Patrician whatsoever. It was just standing on the sidewalk outside of his property. He just thought it was okay to go inside. Oh yeah, Bill Scritch is here. No, don't worry, Bill. I said the dog nipped a man. This is Bill Scritch. Bill Scritch is an animal abuser also. He is friends with John Patrician. He's his buddy. He thinks it's okay to shoot animals in the head 3 times. Don't forget his name.
He
Bill
says
Scritch.
he uses strong words like attacked. I saw the
attacked.
picture.
I saw a picture.
That's bullshit. I call bullshit.
I've
that,
seen
but
somebody get attacked. His whole face was red.
yeah, how about your friend that murdered a dog?
Yeah, so a nip in the hand is an attack, but shooting something in the head 3 times is an assassination, isn't murder. Shut the fuck up.
No, because really, I mean,
Bill Scritch is his name, remember.
first off, I don't understand why you just wouldn't go in your house.
Well, exactly.
And just,
Right.
and if you're gonna
Why
call the
couldn't you
police.
call the cops? Don't ever give me that bullshit excuse that you called the cops. Because if you are an ex-cop and you called the cops should be there immediately. You didn't call the cops until after you shot the dog. And then guess what, Bill? I'm not gonna say it because I found out some really good news today, but your friend is fucked.
But now
Pretty soon he's gonna be in a lot of deep shit.
He
And that's
did-
all I'm gonna say.
the dog never went into his yard.
Nope.
So why would he come out of the yard?
Exactly.
I
Why
don't
would you go out
understand.
of your yard and then drag the dog across
The dead
street,
body.
the
Yeah.
dead body across
Yeah.
the street,
That's that's
laid
crazy.
it on their lawn,
That's
then called CPS on them, then gave the family the middle finger because they were upset that you murdered their dog. Makes no sense.
I guess my thing is like, well, thinking of the story, it's the dog. He's got a fenced-in yard.
Exactly, Amber. He's a loser too.
He's got a fenced-in yard, right? All
Yeah,
fenced in.
all fence, a huge fence in here that takes up both
Was the
sides of
dog
street.
shot in his yard? No.
No.
It was shot outside because we saw the bullet holes
Yeah.
and
Holes on
the and the
sidewalk.
blood. So then,
Yes, he did drag the dog.
What
Were
did
you
the
there?
did the dead dog walk, Bill?
Yeah, so the dog walked and dragged itself across. I mean, I have video footage of the blood spattered everywhere, going across the street. He damn sure did drag the dog.
so the dog got
I'm
shot.
telling the full truth because I know the fucking story, Bill. You don't. Your friend's a piece of shit, and that's why you're saying this because you know your friend's a piece of shit and an animal killer. So that's why you're trying to stick up for him. Your friend's in deep shit, and I'll tell you right now, pretty soon you're going to find out that your friend's going to be in deep shit because there's something happening, and that's all I'm going to say about it without giving too much information away.
No, it's okay. No. I'm just trying to think about like the whole thing. Like, I don't know how anyone can't see what this is. If the guy's in his yard fenced in and the dog is on the other side of the fence, where is there a problem? Do you know
Right.
what I mean? Where
Why
I
can't you just
I
go back
don't
in your house?
understand why then why would you, if you're afraid, you wouldn't come out
The
of the
person
fence.
who got bit didn't even want the cows called.
Right.
They didn't even want that to happen. They're pissed that he shot the dog. They're not okay with him shooting the dog.
Was the guy not inside the fence?
He was excited.
Yeah.
That's why he won't show the camera footage. When the police asked him for the camera footage, he wouldn't give
He
the
says
police the camera footage.
He wasn't in his yard.
So why was he outside of his yard? Why wasn't he inside of his yard?
See, it's weird.
Why would
like,
he walk up to the dog?
'cause
That makes no sense.
the dog couldn't get through the fence. I mean, there'd be no way. Or unless, I mean, so, and then the 3 shots in the, I mean,
3 shots. You mean somebody takes 3 shots? 3 shots to no, that's bullshit. From what I heard, the dog was trying to run away.
right.
Shooting the dog 3 times in time. There's no excuse for him. Bill can make all the excuses in the world for his friend. His friend's a piece of shit, and he's getting exposed for it. And pretty soon he's going to get in trouble for it.
Well, because,
And there's kids that live around.
right.
You're
Yeah.
shooting your gun in the middle of the
day.
daytime like that, you psychopath.
And the,
Trigger happy?
and I don't see how the dog was causing any, I don't understand what the dog could have been
What do they
doing.
expect a dog to
Yeah.
do when a dog's scared and it's getting some random person's coming up to it? Do dogs not bite? I mean,
Oh,
I've
so
got
did
bitten
you
by
see
plenty of
what he
dogs.
says here? I want to give you what he says. He was out to help the guy that was attacked.
The guy didn't get attacked.
Was
He got
not.
nipped on the hand.
So this all happened at the day of the
Yeah.
shooting?
He got nipped on the hand. The dog didn't latch on to him and start shaking him and attacking him and going at his face or nothing. The dog nipped the guy in the hand, and that guy didn't want charges. He told Kendall he didn't want charges pressed. He didn't want the police involved. He didn't want the dog to be shot. He's not even okay with him shooting the dog.
Yeah.
The person who got nipped by the dog wasn't even okay with the fact that he shot the dog.
I don't see how
So
anyone.
So he just wanted to use his gun. He just
I-
wanted to pull his gun out, feel big and bad, and shoot.
I don't see how anyone, friend or not friend, can't see how this was. I'll say something not nice, but call it an overreaction.
Right.
Like, you see what I'm trying to say? Like, how don't you
Well, that's
know
what-
that? Like, it's
It's wrong, plain and simple.
yeah,
Bill's
it's
just
just
friend.
wrong.
And by the way, your friend is friends with pedophiles, so I don't want to hear about that shit.
What
friends-
the
I'm
whole?
telling you, but you know the whole story, Bill? No, you don't. Shut the fuck up. I know the whole story. Guess what? Your friend's friends with pedophiles too. Plain and simple.
What?
If you were telling the truth, Bill, and this was
I don't know shit.
a neglected dog, does that mean it should die? That means it should be brutally
So
murdered? That means it should be shot
At
in
the
the head
time it
3
was
times?
shot. Is this guy trying to say?
He's trying to say every dog that's loose, every dog that gets out should be shot to death.
in the head,
That's what he thinks.
murdered.
But he's trying to say, and I don't know what to say about this. He's trying to say that at the time of the shooting, someone needed help. Is that what he's
Right.
trying to say? Right?
But the person already had spoken to the cops and said they didn't want to press charges. They didn't want anything to happen to the dog. So you're sticking up for somebody who didn't even want to be stuck up for. They didn't even need help. They were fine. I got attacked by a 10-pound dog that did more damage to me than that pit bull
No,
did.
the dog didn't deserve to die. That's
No,
just
plain and
outrageous. It
simple.
didn't
There's no
deserve to
excuse
die.
in the world.
I don't care about anything. It did not deserve to die. There was no reason for
She's
that.
not living with a level 3 sex offender. Are you fucking nuts? Kendall, I hope you see this and you sue the fuck out of Bill Stretch for saying this shit. I really do. Because right there, I'll screenshot it right now.
I just
You
don't.
got proof enough. Screenshot. You got enough to sue the fuck out of him.
I just don't understand. The police never showed up until the shootings.
Well, that's weird because he's an ex-cop. So how come he couldn't get the police over one of his buddies over there? Exactly, Bill. Shut up.
So yeah, why would he shoot the dog?
No, but
if
he's
the-
going on what his friend's telling him because his friend knows that he's got like 400 shares on that post. 400 was 400 people think that your friend is a piece of shit and know that your friend is a piece of shit. So guess what? There's more people that are agreeing with the owner of the dog than you and your friend. There's 2 of you against 400 other people.
But his friend's a little bitch because Bill Scritch here is in the comments like an idiot, and his friend that's the murderer isn't.
He's saying it's okay to
I just don't
put a bullet in a
understand.
dog's head.
Three bullets.
I don't understand if you're friend or not friend. How don't you know that that's you're not?
You mean to tell me you couldn't have just shot the gun off instead of shooting the dog? You could have shot it somewhere like on the ground or something, made a noise and scared the dog off. Or how about when John Patrician's dog has gotten loose plenty of times and the neighbor has had to bring his dog back to his yard? You don't see Kendall shooting his fucking dog, do
Let
you?
me ask you a question.
No.
The guy that was the person that was bit, right? Just I'm curious. They're a neighbor.
Yeah.
Because I know I'm being a pain in the ass because I don't know the street. He's across the street from the people's dog that he killed, right?
Right.
He lives across the street. So this is bizarre. The whole thing doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because if the dog, I saw the bites, didn't we see
Yeah,
them?
yeah.
The scratches or whatever.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have shot the dog in the middle of an attack.
No, the dog didn't attack it.
Yeah.
It wasn't grabbing on and shaking. If the dog wanted to attack, that dog could have fucked somebody up. A pit bull can do
Well, yeah, you
damage.
know
I've
about
seen
them, yeah.
people with damage, okay? If that dog really wanted to attack somebody and do damage, it could have. It didn't.
That
That
takes
was a
a
warning.
special
And
kind
that
of
was
a.
obviously done at the point where he gets his fat ass out from behind the gate and
Yeah, exactly. And he won't even show the camera footage. He will not release it to the
He'll
police.
have to if the police decide to ever look into this. If
Oh,
they ever
they're
decide,
going
if
to.
they ever decide to look into this, maybe enough public pressure
'Cause I know
makes it
some
happen.
really good information that I'm not allowed
Um,
to speak about right now, but I know that
If
John
we-
Patrician's in some deep shit.
Because they don't. I mean, God, you see people that don't shoot them in the head they go to jail. They go to
should.
Somebody just got in
prison.
trouble for shooting a dog a few weeks ago. Somebody just got in trouble for it.
Because this is. I just don't understand how you can't realize out there that though 3 bullets to the head. Then we see the sidewalk. We see where we see it. We see where the dog was shot. It was outside. It wasn't in the fence. And
He dragged the dog across. He dragged it and then left it on her lawn. Gave them the middle finger because they were yelling at him, calling him a dog murderer, which he is.
what was
There's no lie there. He's a dog murderer.
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit. And so what does he do? And now he's gonna say, I'm sorry I had to do what I did. He couldn't have even said, listen, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to shoot this dog, but nothing like that. Nothing. He just is just a piece of shit about it.
can we all stop and think too, like most people have a family pet, a dog, a cat, something. Just because it's a pit bull doesn't mean it's not somebody's family pet. Doesn't mean 5 kids don't love it the same way they love your little chihuahua
Or
or
whatever,
your
yeah.
cat or your bunny or whatever.
Right.
It's still somebody's family pet. It's not just
It's
nothing because it's a pit bull.
That's a special type of person that can do what he did.
He hates pit bulls,
I mean,
is what it is.
that's-
He's one of those pit bull haters, so that's why he did what he did.
And he just, that's a special, that's kind of like that's sick.
Yeah,
I mean, you
You're
can't,
sick.
you
There's
just
no
can't,
excuse for it.
no, there's no excuse for it. There's none at all. I don't even know, the video footage is going to come out. It's going to, because the police are going to end up
Well, then how
looking into
come,
it
Bill,
more.
how come your fucking friend didn't keep his dog under control? Why did Kendall have to actually bring your friend's dog back to his yard quite a few times because his fucking dog got loose? Obviously, your friend can't keep his dog under control. So guess what, Kendall, if you're watching this, next time you see John Patrician's dog outside, shoot the fuck out of it.
Right.
There you go.
And
Plain and simple, because that's the game they want to play.
and you wouldn't, and
My cat's wild. If I
And if you
open
see
the
Bill's
door,
dog,
look
shoot
out.
Bill's dog too.
yeah, this is insane. We don't want to live like that. We don't
No.
want this type of the way to react to this is insanity.
And if Kendall's kids were running around, would he
He
have
would-
shot them too?
Probably trying to shoot.
But even if that did not, what happened there did not, I don't care what anybody on here says, it could not have required that dog to be killed.
No,
It just did not.
murder.
It did not require that. There's no
Bill
way.
has tried Rottweilers and cane corsos, and they've never been anyone.
Okay, but I don't know.
Okay, so that proves that you shouldn't hate just because the dog's a pit bull.
How do you know that they haven't bit anybody? You raised them, but you obviously have had to give them away at some point or something. How do you know they haven't bit anybody?
Someone should be held accountable for this dog.
And if
death,
they
'cause
did,
that's
should
just
they
ridiculous.
be? Should they just be murdered?
Especially,
3 bullets in the
ex-
head, dragged over.
especially since the person that got the whatever bit or scratches, whatever, didn't want to do anything about it.
They did it.
So
They
at
didn't
that
want the cops
point-
involved. They didn't want the dog to
You have no
die.
business to shoot that dog to death. It's just, it's too much. It's the way it is, right? I mean, that's
Well,
just the
what's
way
the
it is.
matter, though? You're okay with shooting dogs, though, Bill. You're cool with that. So what's wrong with that? You're cool with dogs getting shot and killed. So
Yeah.
now you're a hypocrite. Shut up.
Dog should not. There is no reason for that dog to die.
There's no reason. There's
There's
nothing.
none.
Bill,
There's nothing that
Bill, you
can
can
be.
back your buddy up all you want, but there's nothing you
There's
can say.
so many ways that should have went down. There's
So
so
many
many
ways.
different ways. Like, and then the fact that if you have
It shows your state. of mind.
a phone, you could call the police.
Bill, you scared of your
They'll
dog
come.
getting shot if it gets loose? You afraid your dog might get loose and might get shot? Is that a bad thing if it gets shot? Yes, it is a bad thing if it gets
Yeah,
shot.
it's terrible.
Imagine
Not
that
right.
your dog gets loose by accident and the dog gets shot. Imagine that. You wouldn't fucking like it, would you? No, you wouldn't.
Yeah, because
And guess what? You got 5 kids. Your dog's getting loose.
well, because
Yeah.
the biting of this whatever that wasn't enough to kill an animal. It just wasn't.
Dogs bite. My dog has bitten me before.
I've
But
gotten
dogs
the French bulldog's gotten me. I mean, I don't know what to
Yeah.
tell you, but I mean, like,
dogs bite. It's just, especially if they're scared or feel threatened, they're going to bite. That's what they're for. If they feel threatened, they're going to bite.
and
Plain
then
and simple.
I want to know. I can't wait to see footage if we ever get to see it. If that dog was headed home when it happened to them,
I can't.
or what's
That's what
going
they're gonna
on.
figure out.
Because I know the way the blood looks, these people know how to figure that stuff out. I mean, they
Yeah.
know how to do that. It's a crime.
Oh yeah.
Shooting a dog it's a crime.
Right.
You committed a crime, and now we need to investigate it. That's what needs to
That
happen.
wants a report on it too. They're so pissed off about it.
There
Pissed
should
off
be
about
an
it.
investigation. If there isn't, that's a problem. Another problem that should be dealt with, because there needs to be. They didn't investigate anything. They just walked away, didn't they? Isn't that what
I am justifying dogs biting because that's what dogs do. That's what they got mouths for. If they feel threatened, they can't, like us. If a human wants to defend themselves, they can throw punches and stuff. A dog, if they feel threatened, they bite. It's just common fucking sense. Something that you don't have, Bill. You don't have fucking common sense. You're an idiot. That's just, there's not even any talking to you. You're so stupid.
This
I
guy's
wish the
saying-
dog attacked him. I wish the
What?
pit bull would have attacked him.
This idiot saying that the dog biting is
Okay, it's a crime also.
also a crime,
No,
but
it's
not a crime punishable by death.
Yeah, but even if it's a crime, we got to have the person wanted press
Since when
charges.
is a dog bite a crime? Because I don't see dogs getting arrested for biting. That's how stupid you are. What if you has gotten arrested or charged for biting someone?
Because but it's up to the person who got bit to say, I want to press charges.
Like,
I just think that the dog should not have been. We all should think this. Bill, everybody out there should realize that dog shouldn't be dead.
no.
It just shouldn't be dead today.
Your friend's a piece of shit.
that's
plain and
not-
simple.
Yeah, that's not the way this should have ended.
And so is
no
Bill
way.
Fritz, everybody. That's his name. Billscritch. Warn your friends and family about him.
Right. This should not have ended this way. This dog should not be dead. There's no excuse. There's no reason. If the dog, we've seen many attacks. You have, where they're going to be latched onto a kid or even an adult. It don't matter. We could maybe all understand that if the person's life
If
was
the
in
dog
danger.
was attacked,
Yeah.
oh, absolutely. Then
But this is not what happened. It's not.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not what happened. We've talked to the guy who's a handgun. That got scratched or bit.
the person who got bit didn't want to press charges.
So we've talked.
So he was fine. He didn't need John's help. He didn't need John Patricia to come out and save him because he didn't want the police involved or anything done about
It seems like John wanted the dog dead.
it. John wanted to kill the dog.
Just wanted the dog out of the neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's what it appears. Now that'll be up to the police have to investigate. I really can't imagine. Maybe the county has to do. I mean, as ridiculous as it is, maybe the county sheriff has to come in.
Yeah.
The deputies, is if we can't handle this. But
no
this should,
one is after John. Why won't John show the police footage? Because he knows damn well showing that footage would prove that he's in the wrong.
Yeah, we gotta,
And he-
you'd have to see that to make sense of this.
Wait, he didn't wait to get attacked, but he shot the dog in the back of the head.
Right.
So what? The dog was swirling while it
We
while
need
it was
an inve-
attacking.
I'm
him?
afraid there's gonna be no investigation. Oh, Kendall's here. I'm
Oh.
afraid
Hey,
there's
Ken,
gonna,
how's it going? This
I've-
is the
I'm-
perfect time.
I'm afraid there's not gonna be an investigation. I guess that's my biggest fear, right? Because why on the day didn't they do anything? Like the day that they show up, you know, the dog's dead and there's blood everywhere and there's bullet holes in the cement.
It's killing me. I know some stuff that I'm not allowed
Yeah,
to
you
say,
can-
but I will say that pretty soon John Patrician is going to be held accountable because the right people are going to handle it. That's what I know.
Amber says John stalked her house for a while. He had something out for the family and to smirk afterwards.
Gotta hear that family needs justice. Yeah, absolutely.
In the temple, neck, and under the jaw.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Kendall, first,
the
I'm
dog
so
just
sorry.
doesn't deserve to be dead. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. I don't. No one out here should be able to.
That
Like, I don't know how you could process and say no. The dog needed it. The dog deserved to be killed that
No,
day.
sorry, but like
Come
I said,
on.
that bite was not an attack. I've seen people's faces torn off from attacks. Like I've seen pit bull attacks, and if that dog wanted to attack somebody and do some harm, that dog could have fucked somebody up. That dog could have ripped that person to shreds. That dog nipped somebody. That does not justify shooting
No.
the dog in the head, the neck, and the jaw. You shoot 3 times, especially 3 times, you're sick in the fucking head and you're trigger happy.
Yeah,
That's
because
what you are.
and you drag the dog across the street because there's no other way. How could the dog get there?
I know Dan Walker's been taking photos of your house and stuff. He's a creep because my sister and Nick went over to investigate the Jennifer Bolander thing, do a thing over there. He was standing out there filming them, like trying to he was investigating them, like taking pictures and shit. He's a creep. He's a weirdo.
Let's see here. Dominic says, I agree with John. If they dog physically was mauling the individual, then no dog should not die. And usually legit dogs with a right mindset usually snips and never really latches. And just describing how that dog was shot shows if you were really being attacked. Yeah, right. No, that is true.
Right.
I mean, you shot. I mean, if you were being if
If
someone
you're being attacked, I could understand, but a dog nip and an attack are 2 different things, and anybody with a fucking brain can figure that out. Excuse my language, but I'm getting
Oh, that's all right.
because Bill's such an idiot. I've never
He
had to
was-
speak to somebody so stupid before.
He was shooting her away.
oh, he was shooing
Shooting her away,
away.
and his hand went in her mouth. It happened. Wow. So that's
So that's yeah.
so no wonder why then. I mean, it's obvious.
Why would you shoo so close to? Why would you get close enough to a
got
dog
more.
to shoo it? So
Yeah.
he was approaching the dog.
And at the time, she wasn't doing anything to anyone. The guy who got bit was at home washing his hands at the time the dog was shot.
So he didn't need his
He
help.
didn't
He
need
didn't
help.
need John's help. John didn't need
Yeah,
to
this
pretend to be hero and come out.
This
and
was a
start
murder.
shooting his gun. That was a murder.
it
He
was
a murderer.
just to get rid of the dog off the street.
Yeah.
For some reason. So yeah, I mean I unfortunately agree with Gail. I'm afraid there will be no investigation. It's going to take someone with a lot of guts to go and investigate this
Yeah.
because of their connection.
Mhm.
Not so much being an ex-cop, that is a problem itself, but then also, you know, we got fossil signs up, we got all these different
well,
things.
that's another thing.
We're gonna have an
He's
issue.
He's friends with pedophiles and rapists. So there you go.
Yeah.
And animal abusers, because the fossils have history of abusing and killing animals.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah, so maybe animals aren't taken seriously by some of these people.
Yeah,
no.
But here, let me say this too. If you don't want to take animals seriously and you think they're just a possession, and I don't mean this at all, well, you owe some people some money.
Yeah.
Because even if you think a dog isn't a living thing, obviously that's what these people don't think, you owe someone money because you just
Yeah.
got rid of something.
Right.
I mean, I don't know. This makes no sense. He'll have to give the video up to, I hope the district attorney
I hope
wants
they
it.
make. I hope they make
I
him
hope
give it
this
up because
happens.
he's trying not to give the video. He's literally refusing to give the video.
I hope this district, you know what? Maybe that's where we gotta go. And they won't answer our questions. I'd
Yeah.
like to go ask the county
Yeah.
DA. What's happening with this? I really hope, boy, she was 9. We lived there for 7 years. Wow.
That's so sad. Oh.
Yeah, it's not uncalled for. There was no reason for the dog to
Especially a
die.
9-year-old dog too. That's an older dog.
Yeah, there was no reason.
That's an older dog.
This
That's
was done.
fucked up.
This was done on purpose. This was done This was done. This was done definitely. Obviously was done thinking this is what I'm going to do. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing.
So the dog was attacking him, Bill, but he had enough time to run into his house, grab his gun, and come back out and shoot. So if the dog was attacking him, why wasn't he busy being attacked? How did he have enough time to run into his house and grab the gun? Exactly.
The guy was washing his hands. The one who got scratched up.
Yeah, he was in his house.
He was in his house. It was all done.
Yeah.
The situation was over with. That's what I'm going to tell you what.
Niagara Falls Police Department, you're fucked.
You got to do something.
You better do something.
Yeah, because this is a serious crime to kill the animal like that.
No, he was filming them before, Bill. Stop with your stupid shit. He was filming Kendall's house before this happened. This is going back a long time ago. He was filming her and her kids. He's a creep. There's something not right with him.
And Gail says
There's something not right with you.
He's an ex-cop. They don't prosecute their own. No, I know. That's why I'm saying this would take a special kind of somebody, or unless he was not well liked. I mean, that could be something else
I heard
too.
John Patricia's not well liked.
So I don't know. No, my 13-year-old threw a rock at the window that night.
Good. I'm glad you're trying to break his windows, Bill. Guess what? Like Kendall said, a window is replaceable. A dog isn't. Yep. Good. I hope every window in his house gets busted.
Well,
yeah. Plain and simple. I hope every window gets busted. Good.
Can't believe that these people believe that the dogs deserve. I just can't even understand it. No one has really given me a reason why the dog deserved to get 3 bullets in the head. Yeah. Like, there's no reason for that. It doesn't make it. I just don't. You're not getting. No, Bill hasn't. No one has told me why that dog needed to die that day. And especially knowing that the guy who was supposedly being attacked was in the house washing his hands. So there was no attack going on at the time.
Exactly. Kendall said, Bill, I was told he walked into the house and got the gun. That was told by the cops. I am for that. I'm pissed because I've had it out with Bill already. Bill should know to keep his mouth shut because he's losing this argument badly. He should know.
Well, no one comes out in favor of what happened. Do you know what I mean? No one's in favor of what has happened here. No one.
400 other people seem to not agree with John Patrician. The only one who agrees with John Patrician is Bill Scritch.
He saw the attack. Let me read what he said. He went to the man's house who was attacked to check on him. On his way home, the dog came after him. But I thought,
well, then several things. A, you're a dumbass. Why would you go outside your gate if some wild attacking dog was there?
But the guy didn't need to be checked on.
The guy didn't need to be checked on.
So you had enough time to run.
And why does Bill Scritch know every single move that this guy made?
But if he all right, so he goes over to the guy's house, but he's able to avoid the dog, get in the house, get the gun. Why wouldn't you just get in the house and shut the door?
According to Bill, he always carries a gun.
So he was being attacked, but he had enough time to walk to his house.
That's what I mean. How does that happen?
Your friend wasn't being attacked. Your friend's a little bitch.
Attack, LOL. Let me see. The guy who got bit said he didn't want to call the cops or do anything. I went to the guys as well.
Guess what, Bill? You're not correcting anybody. So far, everybody has had to correct you because you're the only one who's making shit up and talking shit and not even making any sense. You're the one who sounds stupid. Everybody so far has had to correct you, Bill. That's how stupid you sound.
I'm trying to figure, because I don't understand. This doesn't make any sense. There's no sense in the whole timeline of, you know what I mean, of everything that went on. It makes no sense. He's going over to someone's house to check if they're okay. The dog's still on the loose. He comes out. The dog's, how fast is he? You know what I mean? How do you outrun the dog?
Exactly like Kendall said. How did he get into the house without dog trying to attack him?
He should have been bitten up. And he wasn't. So this is bullshit. He killed the dog because he did not want the dog on that street anymore for some reason.
Plain and simple, Bill. Get that through your
I don't know what else you could deduce. Unless he better been attacked, I guess. But then even if he got away, he shouldn't go get his gun and kill it. Right. That's still not his.
What he did was wrong, plain and simple. He's gonna pay.
That's still not his rights. He's not the judge and jury.
And I'll make sure Kendall gets justice. I will make sure of that. I will do what I have to do to make sure Bill Patrician gets his guns taken from him and gets held accountable some sort of way.
Yeah, we'll have to make sure that we all end up. There's a lot of places, not just Niagara Falls Police, as we know. The state police take this seriously. Mm-hmm. The county, the people take this seriously. Yeah. Because they love their animals, and and it's not allowed anymore. This isn't the 80s where you could just do that. You're not allowed. You're just not allowed to start assassinating animals. All right, let's see. What does she say? The cop said the guy who shot my dog has no marks. So how was the dog?
Exactly, because the dog didn't
This-
attack him.
This doesn't have make any sense.
He's just a big,
This
he's
doesn't
just a
make
big
sense.
bitch, and he just wanted.
He wanted to
shoot
bully
at
the dog, I guess.
He wanted to kill the dog. That's exactly what.
Yeah.
That wasn't it. If that pit bull wanted to attack, that pit bull could have attacked, and you would have seen some damage done.
He'd have never made it from the house to the house.
You would have never been able
Yeah.
to go into the house and grab a gun if he was being attacked.
I
Bill,
wish
that's
he
how
would have
stupid
been
it is. I
attacked.
wish he would have too. At least then there would be some sort of reason for this, but no.
Yeah, there's no reason for
There's
this.
no
This was
reason.
an unreasonable. This was unnecessary.
And everybody shared the hell out of this, so everybody knows
Yeah.
John Patricia's name. It's on Facebook. I'll share it again. I'll be sharing it every single day, the whole thing.
Yeah,
So-
we'll keep. Well, we're not going to stop because we got to continue to find out what's going to happen next. Like, and I don't even know.
And I don't like the fact that he's so comfortable with shooting his gun out in the middle of the day when
Yeah,
there's
that's a
kids around.
problem too.
Yeah.
That's
You're
another
that
issue.
comfortable, you're that trigger happy that you could go out and start shooting your gun off like that? Mm-mm.
Yeah, no,
No.
that's Dominic's anger management issues.
Exactly, and that's what I've been told by somebody.
Because I mean, we saw the bullet hole into the cement.
Yeah.
So could it ricochet and hit somebody? I don't know.
Could.
Anything can go
sure.
on here. I don't know how you could be that comfortable to fire away like that. That's something else, man. And then
He had
man,
no excuse.
And
No, there's
how
no
you
excuse.
place no value on the life of the dog. You shoot the dog like
Well, let's hope Bill next, it's your
That-
dog that he shoots.
well, that's what I'm saying. And then even if you don't want to place value on them, you now place value on that it's a possession.
yeah,
You
it's a
just
possession
took.
that you can't put a value on because not
Oh, I
only do you
could-
have to pay all kinds of
Oh, you're
money
paying
to
money.
get a dog like that.
No, you can
but
like him, I'm
you-
coming after you.
You can't put a price on the emotional attachment
No,
you
but-
have to that dog.
But I'm going to put a price on those kids getting another one. I'm going to put a price
I
on
would, yeah.
all that stuff. He's going to buy them another dog.
No, if you want to get a protest going outside of his house, let me know. I'll rally some people up and we'll do a protest right outside of his fucking house.
Do it while I'm out of work.
Yeah,
please.
I'll make sure I'm
All right, we should probably get going, I guess. All right, let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you for joining us. A lot of stuff, yeah, a lot of things on this.
And your mom and your dad.
A lot of things, a lot of things in this show, man. So let's wrap it up. We'll be back next week. I'm sure we'll be talking about this again. This will be a continued story. So anything else? Let us know. Obviously, right? Our page is always there for people.
Yeah.
Anything that's wrong, anything that goes on, let us know because we'll be the only ones that will talk about it. Others will not. So anything left, guys? Greg,
I think I said it.
you said enough? All right, everyone. We'll see you guys next week for episode 162.
Bill, go fuck yourself.
Goodbye.
Bye.